Welcome to SQL for writing. Today we can check how to get the last identity insert column value next year. Here we can use the scope identity, update identity, and current functions. Okay. So we have one table one, and that contains ID with the identity, and one other column is name. Okay. We can just execute these insert values and create tables also. Okay. So data are inserted. You can check the table. Now the identity is up to 5. Okay. Then we can check with these functions. So the scope identity returns the last identity value generated for a table in the current session and current scope. Okay. So we can just execute this. Then we will get the 5. Okay. And update identity returns the last identity value generated for any table in current section across all scope. Okay. So current session means this is the current session and this is the current scope. Okay. We will execute this. Then also we will get the 5. And ident current returns the last identity value generated for a specific table in any session and any scope. Okay. So we will execute this. Then also we will get 5. Here we are passing the table name. Okay. Execute these things. Now we are getting 5 for each functions. Scope identity, active identity, ident current also same. Okay. Now we can just check with the other query. This is another session and another scope. Okay. Here we will just execute this. Then you can see we will get scope identity is null, active identity also null. Okay. But here we are passing the table name. So that's why we are getting the last identity. Okay. So in this session now insertion is there. So the scope identity is null, active identity also null. Okay. And the ident current will not check with any session or any scope. So we are getting this 5. Okay. Now we can just try to insert one value to table 1. Okay. Just execute. So one row affected. Okay. So in this session we have one insertion with the identity, right? So execute this. Now we are getting the scope identity 6, active identity also 6, and this ident current also 6. Okay. Now we can just try to execute these queries once more. Okay. So this is one current session, right? And this is the current scope. Now we are executing. Now we will get the scope identity what we are previously inserted, that scope only 5. Okay. But the ident current, it will not check any session, any scope. This is getting, we are inserted in this session, right? And this scope. So we are getting this data. Okay. So this is the difference between ident current and these things. And we can check with the scope identity and active identity also because both in the case we are getting the same result, right? So this way we can create one more table. Okay. And we are created table 2, that is ID and name only. Okay. After that we want to create one procedure for this. Okay. Here we are inserting the table 2, we are inserting just value z6. Okay. Just execute this procedure. Okay. Now we can just check with this scope. This scope also null and also value 6 only. Okay. Now we are trying to insert this data. Okay. So procedure and trigger anything and that's also one scope only. Okay. Just insert one data. Now we can just check, execute these queries. Now you can see we are not getting any value to the scope identity, but we are getting value of attach identity, because attach identity, the identity value we will get with the current session with any scope. Yeah, this is another scope. Okay. So, but attach identity we will get the other scope. In the definition itself, attach identity rotate the last identity value generated by the table in the current session across all scope. Yeah. So we will get the identity of table 2 identity here. Okay. We can just try to insert one data to here to table 1. Okay. Just execute this query, and we are trying to execute the output. Now we are getting all data are 777. Right. Currently we are getting the table 1 in sessions data. Okay. That is when all identities are 777. We can just execute both this. This is the table 1 data. So we will get scope identity page. This attach identity, what we will get insert table 2 data, right? Just execute this. So for table scope identity we will get h, and attach identity we will get 2, and identity current also we will get h. Okay. Okay, thank you.